When it comes to closed transfer, that's what pressure fermentation is really all about for you guys at home who are getting into it. It's not just about being able to carbonate in your tanks. It's not just about whether or not you're suppressing esters. Really, it's about closed transfers, being able to move your beverage to kegs or packaging without oxygen interference. So today we're going to show you two ways to do this, the closed loop transfer and the linear transfer. We're going to go into these new 6.5 liter kegs that we're offering here at Keg King, which are really actually pretty cool because they hold a little less than the 9.5 liter kegs, so they're a little lighter, but they have the same exact hardware. So whether or not you're using 19 liter kegs, 9.5 liter kegs, 6.5 liter kegs, won't matter. You'll be able to do this linear transfer or closed loop transfer with your pressure fermenters. This is how to do it properly. So two ways to do pressure ferment transfers. Let's check it out. We're going to start with putting in a whole bunch of sanitizer right up to the rim and pushing that out. In this case, I'm using Atomic 15 low foaming sanitizer. I'll mix it, put it into this keg. Let's do that now. For this next bit, you'll need your gas cylinder. You're going to set it to about 10 psi. You can set it a little higher if you'd like. Put the gas in. Liquid to liquid transfer line. You're going to use a carbonation cap with a little bit of tubing on it. Run the sanitizer out of the keg. You're pushing all of it out, so you're left behind with a clean, sanitized keg with no air in it. This is the perfect vessel to now fill with your beverage. You worked hard on it, you've got to keep the air off of it. No oxygen means your beers are going to stay, or whatever beverage you're making, going to stay a lot fresher, a lot longer. Once you're blowing gas like that, go ahead and undo your liquid to liquid transfer line. You've now got gas in the tube because it was being pushed out of the keg, so it's a nice, very clean, sanitary tube to transfer from. Now let's get our beverage and get it into this keg. Go ahead and grab your beverage. Doesn't matter if it's in a 10 liter, a 30 liter, 60 liter, they all are going to work the same. They have the same attachments on the top of your pressure fermenter as you do on your Bullock kegs. So it's very simple to move beverages around, especially since these ones have floating dip tubes. So the first thing you're going to do, set your regulator to be about 10 psi and go ahead and attach the regulator and gas supply to the gas post of your pressure fermenter. We're going to go ahead and hook up one liquid post onto this fermenter. Now, you'll need a spunding valve. I highly suggest the spundy. The spundy is going to go on the gas post of your keg. You're going to try to hold about 10 psi. Now, when I attach this gas disconnect, it's going to blow back a little bit because this is a little bit higher and there's only gas in here, so we know we're pretty safe. But now, if I back this off, if this is pushing at 10 psi, it's pushing the beer out into the keg, down the dip tube, filling from the bottom, and we've got it set to just under 10 psi on the spunding valve. That means the liquid's slowly moving over, the keg is sanitized, purged of air, and it's chilled so that the sides of this are actually nice and cold. As the beverage is filling, it's not foaming up, it's under pressure, and the spunding valve itself is holding the pressure required to keep foaming down as it fills. We have increments on the side of our fermenter which show us exactly how much beverage we can bring over. This is a 6.5 liter keg and this is a 10 liter fermenter, but because we have those increments on here, it's easy enough for us to just look and see exactly where 6.5 liters are and bring them over to the keg without overfilling. This is the linear transfer. This is the cleanest transfer of beverage that you can get. Why is it cleaner? because nothing's recirculating back to the fermenter. So that was linear transferring, going from the cylinder through the pressure fermenter into the keg. This is the closed loop variety of transferring. Why would you use it? Because you're going to save a little bit of CO2 from your CO2 tank. Some brewers are going to prepare their kegs during fermentation by harvesting that CO2 from their fermenter into the keg. So they clean, rinse, and sanitize the keg. Then they're going to use their spunding valve and put it on the keg so it holds the pressure during fermentation. The line from the pressure fermenter will go to the keg, feeding it gas all throughout the fermentation. And that brings this keg up and ready to use by having all that CO2 in there with pressure. It's cleaned, it's sanitized, now we can use it. Which also means this gas line is cleaned and sanitized, ready to be used, and it's full of gas from that fermentation. So let's go ahead and get this started. The first thing you're going to do, gas disconnect to gas disconnect, you're going to go ahead, hook up the keg, which is at about 10 psi, and the fermenter, which is at about 10 psi. They're going to balance in pressure. So on there and on the gas post up here as well. We'll give it a little bit of time to go ahead and equalize. And now we're going to go hook up the liquid line. This is liquid to liquid disconnects. And if you want to be really finicky about your sanitation, just make sure to add a little bit of sanitizer to the posts and to the underside of your disconnects. Go ahead, hook up the fermenter and hook up the keg. And now before we hook up the keg, if we unattach the gas disconnect like that, we should be able to get this liquid to come down the tube and into the keg, filling it just with the gravity. We'll go ahead and relieve a bit of the pressure in the keg. There you go. That's it. You can see the bubbles kind of moving through the line now. The keg's filling up. And now you're just using gravity to actually bring the liquid out. And in order to equalize that pressure, because this is filled with gas, we can actually bring that back up here to equalize. And now it will just slowly empty this fermenter. That's it. 2 types of fermentation pressure transfer. And this is one of the greatest advantages of pressure fermentation. So it doesn't matter if you're using little equipment like this, or if you have 60-liter fermenters or up. If you're getting fermentation with pressure, you're getting the advantage of oxygen-free transfers. I can't stress how important that is for keeping your beverages fresh and keeping them tasting fantastic every time that you brew, every batch you make. So check out the PET pressure fermentation line from Keg King. Check out these 6.5 liter kegs. And also all this equipment is available through Keg King and Keg King distributors worldwide. Thanks for watching.